Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Drifters, Season 1, the Rundown Review. Drifters is a very funny, very interesting British comedy about three women. The term drifter in Europe pretty much means just drifting from for this show, like drifting from one occupation to another. And basically it's just three women living their lives, just navigating through their mid-20s and stuff. The main character that it focuses on is a woman named Meg. And so basically it just deals with relationships, jobs, living expenses, pretty much just typical thing that a normal person would go through and everything, especially that in their mid-20s, because the main character Meg has just graduated from college and she's kind of just clueless, trying to navigate through life. The other two, Bunny and Laura, they're just there as her friends, just helping her navigate while also doing their own thing, but it doesn't really focus on them. When it does focus on them, it's mostly just out of comic relief and stuff. And so, because we don't really know we know what their jobs are, but we don't know really the living arrangement of the other two, or stuff like that. We do know about their relationships and stuff, and it's just something that you see in kind of like everyday life, but more hyped up in a comedy relief kind of way, because each show has the leader, the mean one, the dumb one, and stuff like that. So it's that formula that's in nearly every comedy show, and it's very apparent in this. But even though Meg is technically the ipso facto leader, she screws up so much. And that's one thing about life when you're older, is just there's no real reward in this show for the most part. Is a person who messes up. And so even though everything is just made for laughs in this, I can appreciate this show a whole lot more than HBO Max's The Sex Lives of College Girls. And because with that show I've already talked about, they reward bad behavior in that show. And and it's kind of that's not always how life works. But in this show, when you screw up, it has consequences. And that's something Meg learns in the very last part of the last episode. And so it's 6 episodes, it's about 20 minutes long, it's a sitcom. And it's pretty hilarious at that. You got to give it up to the main actress who writes this stuff, because it's just kind of some of the most zaniest things that does happen in real life that you take for granted. And it's done in a very tasteless, well, not tasteless, but tasteful way, you know what I'm saying? And so you get satisfied and you just kind of oh, that's hilarious, but oh, I could see that happening in real life, you know what I'm saying? And so basically our main character, like I said, is Meg, and she is played by the hilarious and very talented Jessica Cabinet. And I'm probably saying her last name wrong. And so she is the one who created and wrote a lot of these episodes, and she stars as the main character. I have no idea if she based this off her real life or not, but if it did, then hey, we've all been there, you know what I'm saying? And so Meg, she is a very nice person who does not go out her way to harm people in no real kind of way. It's just she wants her needs met. She's intelligent, she's very smart, which of course is just intelligence. But she thinks everything's funny, and she thinks everything has to be hilarious, and that's where she messes up in life. She is the type of person that will blurt out the wrong thing all because she thinks it's hilarious. Mostly sexual innuendos, sexual body parts, sexual this is and that's, and she does it out in public for everybody to hear. and it causes her to screw up big time in life. She has to pay the consequences of that, whether it's a date, it's a job, or just the social circle of like life. Um, like her when she graduated from college, she expected to live home with her parents like most 20 something year olds. But nope, her family kind of like rearranged her room and they're all like, you gotta find a new place to live. So she ends up, this is like devastating for somebody to hear, especially when you're out of college and you have no real job to support yourself, right? She has a job, but it's I can't talk today, meaningless job with her other two friends. And so, like, she is forced now to live with her ex-boyfriend. Now, her ex-boyfriend is, of course, her ex-boyfriend for a reason. He is too obsessed with her. He is madly in love with her. He's weird. He's creepy. He will not leave her alone. She does not want to live there, but she lives in his place, and she lives up in the attic in a little room. And she decorated all nice and pretty for her to just be a little happy with herself, you know? And so now she has to worry about finding boyfriends and bringing them back home. And her obsessive ex boyfriend is there and stuff. And then also, oh, I remember there was one episode where she wakes up with a girl in her bed. And it's just some girl she met. She's not even into her. And everybody else is like, dude, she's a lesbian. It's like, And they're like, yeah, huh. And then so when they're at a party together for her brother's birthday, she brings this girl kind of like as her date, but she's not into her. And so she starts talking to her and she finds out the girl's not even into her. So then she gets offended. The girl's actually interested in Bunny. But the thing about Meg, even though Meg tries to do like the right thing, she is still just like a bit of a screw up and everything. But she is the type of person that wants to find love. Like I've already explained what happened in episode 2 when she tried to date that guy and she just blurted out something like sexual and perverted in front of the entire restaurant and just kind of blew it. And then she at one point was like, it's been like a whole year since she had any. And so Bunny set her up on a date with a guy she knew back in school named Sweaty Tom. And so he's like repulsive and everything, you know, because he's like just constant, just like sweating and everything. And he's just kind of a doof. And so, but she still dates him and everything. And he had this big party to go to, but it turns out the big party was like a 16-year-old girl party with tons of high schoolers and everything. And so at some point he's just like not into her, and Laura's all like, look, if you want him to like bang you and everything, just start bringing up a lot of perverted stuff or bring up lesbians. So she brings up the perverted stuff, but it doesn't even work. So she brings up lesbians, and that catches his attention so much that he wants to clickety clack her. And so when they go back to her place, something happens. I forget what, but basically it does not happen. And so then when she's trying to get like a better job, because see her boss is a little perverted and everything, talking about, you know, like sex sells and you need to make yourself look prettier, you need to like push up your boobs and like put on makeup and stuff, and she doesn't want to do that. And because their job is kind of like they promote stuff. Whatever a promotion, whatever company wants their stuff promoted, they have to dress up in these costumes and promote it, and outside and stuff, in these silly little costumes. And so she basically quits after that, and she finds like a radio gig. And they was all like, okay, they all telling like awkward stories. They're being slightly perverted, but not really. So when she tells her awkward story, she can't think of nothing and says something very, very, very perverted. They're shocked and stunned, and they fire her on the spot. So she has to like go back to like her old job, which she hates, because now she tried to stand up for herself, and basically when, you know, things went slant, she had to go back to her old job, and now it just makes her look like she's crawling back with a big grin on her boss's face. And then so in like the finale episode, her and Mark, um because she still doesn't like Mark. Oh, actually, tell you the truth. Like, okay, oh, after that episode, the one I was telling you about, where she hasn't had any in like a whole year, she gets so desperate, she knocks on Mark's door, thinking she'll just do a one night stand with him, only to hear him doing himself. And what is he doing himself to? One of her pictures. It grosses her out, and she says no. But when it comes to Mark in the finale, he's doing this promotional thing where he's trying to get people to go to his 90s club. And so her and the other girls, they feel bad thinking nobody's going to show up, but tons of people show up. And she's very impressed by this. And also his new appearance. He's actually looking like a man's man, instead of like a slob and a slouch and a creepy stalker. And so this really turns her on. And so she tries to like get with him, only to find out he's dating somebody already. So only for her to start getting creeped out and like turned off by him again. And so now she's like, crap, because he's like all into me and stuff. So the girls are like, all right, this is your plan B. And talk about you want like to be married, have tons of kids, all this stuff. She lays it out to him. I want to get married right here, right now. I want some kids, And he's like, all right, fine, I'll do that. She's like, crap. Because she didn't want that. She thought that would turn him off. So then Laura calls up like his ex and everything. He's all like, Mark wants to talk to you. Only to see like not Laura, but what's her face? Meg there. Basically, none of them want Mark. And so they're trying to like bop him off to the other person, only for him to hear all of that. He heard everything from where the ex and Meg doesn't want him. They just use him for sex and all this other stuff. He's furious. He's pissed. He's also furious and pissed because Laura and Bunny are always at his place, eating his food, using his electricity. And Meg has not paid any type of like rent or bills or anything like that. And he's all like, you need to pay this, give me some money for the lights to get shut off. She doesn't think that's real. I think they're just like, kidding until the lights does get shut off. And then we see him just get furious, angry at her. So Meg is just one of those type of people who wants a lot, but ends up screwing up big time. Now, let's get into her cousin. So her cousin, Bunny, played by Lyda Rose Bruley. So, like, it's funny. Those two are supposed to be cousins, but they don't act like cousins at all. They just act like best friends. And, like, I don't know, it's just weird. They just don't have that cousin vibe. They just act like friends and everything. But I love myself some Bunny. Bunny is hilarious. Why? She's the dumb one of the group. Oh, poor Bunny. Bunny is a bit of an exhibitionist. She is super horny. She's constantly dating guys. She's constantly getting herself some. Um, she does some of the most outrageous things like ever because she's so loopy in the head. And so like one day she's in Meg and Mark's place and Meg's not there. And so Bunny, she's just bored and she's looking at like a picture of a black woman with like a curly hair type afro. And then all of a sudden she's like, well, I want that. And so then she gets like a curling iron and she tries to do it, but she pulls her hair out by mistake. Then in a weird trance, she just like starts chopping her hair and her bangs off with scissors. But she has the curling iron on like the table next to like a cloth and it sets on fire. The fire department has to go there. And then so when the fire department puts the fire out, she accidentally locks herself out the house. When Meg comes back, she is furious. And Bunny's just all like, I just wanted an afro. Oh, Bunny. But yeah, throughout this entire series, you will see just how horny this woman is. And the thing about her, she will date anybody. So, like, she's dating this man who she thinks she's so in love with, but he's an old man. And she's constantly just like making out with him and everything, right? So then she invites him to like that 16-year-old birthday party that I told you about when Meg and Sweaty Tom. And this is the strange revelation with him, which is really gross. He's all like, oh yeah, some of these used to be my students and everything. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, Bunny, don't you remember me? She's like, no. He's like, I was your teacher back in high school, when that private school you went to. She's like, oh, I thought you looked familiar. And so then he's like, yeah, but then she's like, don't you find it kind of creepy a little bit? He's like, no, like what's so creepy about being attracted to one of your students, then waiting for them to turn 18? What the world? That's like some Olsen twin mess right there, because that's literally what happened. Tons of adult men was waiting for the Olsen twins to turn 18. So this creeps Bunny out. She's like, nah, even she can't do that. And then so like then she's dating this one dude towards the end of the season one finale. And he's just this dude who walks around in his underwear, has like this curly like afro type thing, um, dresses in like her robe, and is super creepy, horny, like hitting on everybody. It's to the point where that one girl that was into what one girl Meg was kind of like into that I was telling you about, um Bonnie just starts making out with her. Didn't even know she was bi, but then she's really not. But she found that. Well, no, she kind of is. I remember now because she said she experimented back in school. But other than that, she just mostly goes for dudes. But she's only into this one girl because the girl's into her. And then so like to conclude the bunny story, in the finale, somehow her boobs got on the internet. Laura was taking they got a picture of herself, and then Bunny was changing or flashing her or something like that. And so lots of people saw that, and some dudes all like, "Oh, I want to paint you." And so Bunny never met this dude, so Laura goes with him, make sure she doesn't get like raped or killed. And so while there, the dude's like painting Bunny, but she's clothed and everything. And he's being horny. And then Laura looks down at her. She's like, "Oh, you have like a massive boner." And she's like, and then so, because he's being like pervy and everything. And so they want to see the painting. And the painting is, of course, a bunny, the way she is dressed. But then it's him completely naked with his shillelagh sticking way out towards Bunny and everything. And then so they both creeped out and they leave, only for the end for Bunny to go back and buy the picture from him. Oh, Bunny. I swear. Now, I don't know what her real name is. I don't even know if it's really Bunny or not. Like, it could be her nickname, could be her real name. I don't remember because they don't really state it. Now, Laura, oh, she's played by Lauren O'Rourke, and she is the mean one of the group. She's very rude, she's very blunt, she loves to dress sexy, short skirts, like you name it. And so she's dating this dude named Gary, and they've been dating for a good while. Now, she's been faithful for the most part, but she had a dream thinking, because in the dream Gary was cheating on her, so she's all like, dreams are real and he's cheating on me and stuff like that. And the girl's all like, dude, it's just a dream. Like, nah, I know he's cheating on me. So then one day she takes like a lunch break and she goes to check on him to make sure he ain't cheating, but he's just playing video game with a bunch of like teenage boys online. And then so she's all like, I'm gonna make you never cheat on me. So she starts giving him like a BJ. Then he's like, no, I don't want one. I'm playing the video games now. I'm a troll. Everything like that. And so she's like, dude, you seriously don't want none right now. You just want to play video game with a bunch of little boys. And he's all like, I have to do it for like the team and everything. And he doesn't want one. I'm just like, dude, what the world is wrong with you? And then, so in one episode, they are working to promote a car that they have to sell. And so basically, you fill out this brochure type thing, and or a survey type thing, and if you're picked, you get to get the car, right? She rigs the system by filling out tons of them, putting her mom's address but a fake name. She won, and she tells the people, "Oh, since the person's not here to claim the car, why don't we just go and deliver it?" So her and the girls are in the car, and they realize when they go to the house, like, "Hey, this is your mom's house." They're like, "Dude, you just stole this car," and she's like, "It's not stealing. It's like I'm borrowing or something like that." This is like, "This is Grand Theft Auto." She's like, "That's not real. That's just an American video game." Oh boy. But she does have a turn, like a change of heart. And so at the end, she gives the car to this old couple that tried to win the car. And so one time when she's out at Meg's brother's birthday party, she's with Gary and all them, and Gary sees like these famous soccer plays, which of course is called football there. And so she starts talking and flirting with the one like soccer dude. And so they all go to like this strip club afterwards, and he thinks she's one of the dancers. So she's all like, "Yeah, I'm a dancer," and everything, because she wants to get with him. So she goes into like a private room session, and she just starts dancing on him, but in a very awkward way. But this turns him on, and she cheats on Gary by making out with him. Gary sees this, punches the dude, and then they start fighting and stuff. So it turns out Gary does like her. And that gets her so turned on by him physically hurting somebody that she just starts making out with him and humping him in a weird kind of fashion. For the most part, she doesn't have much of a story arc in the first season. She's basically just there to be blunt, rude, and like that's about it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much just like what it is to like her character. So I think this was a nice, fresh, entertaining show where it's kind of like, it's scripted, of course, but it's a little realistic, but in a scripted kind of way where, like, people don't always succeed in life and they screw up, or sometimes they are rewarded, but in an awkward kind of way. And that's what I like about this show. Like, it's not American drama, it's something different, it's something fresh in your head. It has a different feel to it, and it really makes you think that there's other ways to write comedy and stuff. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.